Is Jiu-Jitsu a good self-defense if you ever get in a street fight? Now, no matter the size of the person that you might be fighting, who might be picking on you, the answer to this question is yes and no. And on this video, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why it is the best self-defense for a street fight. And also I'm going to give you 4 reasons why it can be the worst martial arts for self-defense. And with me being an Olympic medalist boxer and done jiu-jitsu for a little over a year now, training with some of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world, I've got experience with both of these. And on top of that, I used to be a nightclub doorman. So I've got experience in all of these aspects. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what I think you should be working on that will give you the biggest chance of success if you ever do get in a street fight. And it might surprise you. Now let's talk about the 4 reasons why it's so good for self-defense. Starting with number 4, and that is no matter how big or strong someone is, if they come up to you and they touch you, they grab your neck, they push you, because you know jiu-jitsu, you can very easily take them to the ground, dismantle them, put them asleep, or just hold them there for as long as you want when they're pushing, trying to get off you. Yeah, you can do that if you know jiu-jitsu. And you might be thinking, well, that's perfect. How can there be any negatives of knowing jiu-jitsu in a street fight? Well, I'm going to talk about them in a minute. But let's move on to number 3. When you've been practicing jiu-jitsu, you know how to submit someone. You know how to get someone in an arm lock to make them surrender. And you can do this in a way where you're not necessarily going to hurt someone. Where if, let's say, you punch someone in the face and they get knocked out, they bang their head on the way down, that could be your life over. You could be in jail. That could be them disabled forever. But whereas jiu-jitsu, when you learn these submissions, you can put them in a tight chokehold, nice and relaxed while they're trying to struggle. Yeah, they'll be asleep. The fight will be over, then you can get out of there and get out of danger. And it's not going to seriously damage them. Moving on to number 2. Jiu-jitsu is so good for your confidence. I'm a confident guy anyway. I had 106 boxing fights and had loads of success in the sport. But when I learned jiu-jitsu, now I've got a different type of confidence. Because with boxing, I don't know what to do if someone grabs hold of me or takes me to the floor. But now I know exactly what to do if it ever gets into that situation. But not only that, the fitness side of jiu-jitsu, it can help you get into great shape. Like, I've lost lots of weight from doing jiu-jitsu. And when you lose weight and you can start to see your muscles, yes, you'll look better. When you look better, you feel better. When you feel better, you've got more confidence. And another big thing for the confidence is you're sparring or rolling with people who are bigger than you and stronger than you, and they're getting older you and maybe choking you. You're in the most uncomfortable situation you could possibly be in. And what happens when you do jiu-jitsu constantly, you get comfortable in these uncomfortable situations, what only ends up building and boosting your confidence. That can really translate to, let's say, a street fight. If a bully's trying to pick on someone, do they pick on the confident guy or the less confident guy? Do they pick on the guy who's not in shape, or do they pick on the guy who's in shape? Exactly. So there's way less chance of this fight even happening if you're confident and in great shape. And jiu-jitsu is great for that. And number 1, before I tell you about why it's bad for self-defense, is your awareness and focus. When you're training in jiu-jitsu, your awareness and focus just goes through the roof. And when you're in the gym training jiu-jitsu, you've got to be always focused. Focusing on not being submitted. How can you survive this round? How can I get this big guy off us? You're so present, so focused in this training. And what that focus does makes you very aware. And in a street fight, that's exactly what you've got to be. You've got to be focused and you've got to be aware. Focusing on, is this guy going to throw a punch? How can I get out of the way of that? How can I get close to him to stop him from attacking me? So that's definitely a big one. Now, before I tell you what I think you should be working on for the ultimate self-defense, let's just talk about why I believe jiu-jitsu can be a bad form of self-defense for a street fight. Starting with number 4. Jiu-jitsu, you don't learn how to defend punches. And generally in a street fight, what is the first thing that someone will do? Yes, they'll throw a big punch at you. Now, if you're not used to punches coming at you, how are you supposed to defend this punch? Because that's never happened to you before. And if that punch lands, what does it feel like? Because you've never been punched in the face before. Whereas other martial arts like boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, when you do the sparring aspects of them, yes, you get used to being punched in the face, as crazy as that may sound. Moving on to number 3 is ground fighting. Jiu-jitsu is mostly focused on being on the ground, and that's where you fight. That's where your strength is. That's where you're strong. That's where you're comfortable being uncomfortable, on the ground. Whereas street fights, yeah, they sometimes end up on the ground, but if they don't end up on the ground, and then it's kind of on you to get the fight to the ground. That is actually a strength of jiu-jitsu. You know how to get people to the ground when you've taken them down. But then if you're going to take someone down, now they're going to throw punches at you. or knees at you or kicks at you. Because you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're not used to that. And it could put you in line to get seriously hurt. Also with the ground fighting is now you're not on a soft mat, you're on a concrete floor, or it could be a stairway. And when you pull guard and take someone down in jiu-jitsu, your back's hitting off that soft mat. Things will be a little bit different on that concrete floor, or like I say, a stairway where you could get seriously hurt. Number 2 is a big one. If there is multiple attackers coming at you, but because jiu-jitsu is one-on-one, as soon as you've grabbed hold of someone else and having success, there's a good chance his friend's going to come from the side, bop, 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 and start hitting you from all of these angles. Whereas if you were boxing, for example, someone comes onto me, bump, one punch, he's gone. The next guy, boom, one punch, he's gone. Next guy, boom. You can knock out 4 people in 4 seconds if you know how to throw your hands. But because you've just been practicing jiu-jitsu for all this time, that's not going to happen. And you could be on the receiving end of that. So this is number 1 before I tell you about what I think you should be working on. And that is, you're not wearing a gi outside. And if you're used to jiu-jitsu where you're always wearing a gi, where you're used to controlling people, pulling the collars down, using their legs to get in positions, or using it for a choke, which there's hundreds of different chokes and different moves that you can use in a gi that you can't use out of a gi. That won't apply if you haven't got a gi on. Yeah. Unless you're wearing a big thick leather jacket, then probably won't really apply to you. Now, with all that being said, what do I think you should be working on to help you with self-defense? Well, I'm going to tell you, but before I do, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video. Are you like me and you drink coffee every day? Well, my way of thinking is if you're going to put something in your body every day, it should be the very best, especially if you train often and you want to reach peak performance. That's the reason I've drank Four Sigmatic coffee for years now. Not only is it organic, but it's infused with lion's mane and other functional mushrooms to support concentration and mental focus. And you may or may not know that lion's mane can really help with cognition and performance. And they say you can feel more focused within as little as 7 days. And actually for me, it only took 4 days for me to feel a massive difference. And with my coffee, I like to add in there Think Vanilla Creamer for a hint of vanilla flavor. And also it's got L-theanine, which helps keep a great balance in the way you feel, so you're not having that high and then crashing. I'll also add in there the Focus Blend for an extra clarity boost. If you know me, you know I don't talk any BS, and this is the best out there. As a very busy business owner who trains BJJ, who's a full-time content creator and has 3 very energetic kids, and I want to mention I've been punched in the face thousands of times in my life as well, I need mental clarity every day. Believe me when I tell you this, Four Sigmatic is a game changer, and with their new Think Starter Kit, it makes it around $1 a cup, cheaper than the other crap out there you might get in a store. And this is a great way not only to enhance your training, but your life as well. You can upgrade your morning routine the way I've done to become the very best version of yourself. Think Starter Kits is available in Whole Foods, Amazon, and foursigmatic.com. Check it out and thank me later. So what I think you should be working on is both boxing and jiu-jitsu. If you know how to throw your hands and you know how to control someone on the ground, you will never have a problem with self-defense. Now, if you want to learn some boxing, you should click here and watch this video next, where I teach you how to box in just 4 minutes. Click here and watch this video next.